What's going on, everybody? This is Jordan with Conquer Trading Investing. Wherever you are right now, I am so thankful and glad that you are here. We're going to have another great session working out together, finding out what opportunities there in the market, reviewing charts, getting that clarity, getting that certainty, helping us prepare to conquer the markets. That is what we do. We're going to go ahead and get into it, starting with, before we get into it, we just saw this morning Bitcoin print 39,000 together. Very nice to see. You could also see yesterday in the afternoon update, I pointed out how that was a little bit of resistance as we got into that area, somewhere around 40,000, 41, right? In this area over here, it's the first area of resistance that we're coming into. We're going to take a look around, see what's going on, put it all together. Yep, Christine, not happy. ECB, not happy about Bitcoin. I guess they're trying to defend that what do you call that altcoin? The euro? I don't even want to say it, but we don't know what that is, right? Christine has a history of actually being a stand-up citizen, right? She has not been prosecuted for any type of activity that would be called suspicious. We all know that Bitcoin is not the place that you want to launder money. That's what they have that US dollar for. That's what those arms dealers and drug dealers, that's the currency of their choice. Nevertheless, let's find out what's going on over here. We got a lot to talk about. I want to start off with the Euro US dollar before we get into the indexes, only because it's a perfect learning experience. I'm going to pull up the Euro US dollar. This last night in the afternoon update, I was looking at this trade. That's why that arrow is there. That's why this trend line is over there. And I said, if this holds over here and we resume up off of it, right, make higher highs, that is a good looking entry to me. What happened? Well, a couple of things happened. The first thing that happened was that President-elect Biden you see news wires that today he's going to have a COVID speech about a $2 trillion stimulus package, right? $2 trillion stimulus package. Right away, you started seeing yields rise, right? Because what does that mean? What does that all mean? We had yesterday the beige book, by the way. Look at the price over here of agriculture, right? Soybeans, everyone is tracking. It's not just soybeans. It's all agricultural. Boom. What is that? What is this over here in the commodity index breaking out of here, this trend line over here? We've been watching now for quite a while here on this channel. Inflation. But Jordan, QE is deflationary because some guy with a paper hat told me it was. Anyway, I digress. Look over here. They're talking about not only this is worrisome. We're talking about, they're saying that whether it's manufacturing, wholesale trade, retail, especially in retail, they are going to be increasing prices in the coming months. Ladies and gentlemen, it is called, boom, 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 inflation. Nasty, nasty inflation. You're seeing right now rates rising because of it. You're seeing rates starting to yields rise because of it. That over here, and what I wanted to get to over here was this over here, and what's the most important. You could see that price never made a higher high. This prevents us from getting into a trade we don't want to be in. We are layering edge upon edge upon edge. The first edge we look for is by going through the markets and flagging things that look like they're set up. That's the first edge we see. We're looking for technical setups. The second edge is, out of all those setups, we discern which are the one or two best trades to take. The third edge is the time of day we trade. Fourth edge, waiting for price to resume back into that direction that we're trading. You can see over here, and this is just a perfect teaching example, as we had yesterday, a couple of teaching episodes, a couple of teaching episodes in yesterday's afternoon update. Here's another one. Whatever the market's showing us is what we're going to cover, and you can see that price never made a higher high, keeping us out of the trade. Where does that lead us now, by the way? Right? Getting under this trend line over here. We're going to look at the DXY in 1 second together. But is this setting up a possible short? Well, first of all, let's zoom out over here on the Euro US dollar, right? Uptrend or downtrend? From my perspective, from swing traders' perspective, for sure we're in a big uptrend, right? Zoom out on the Euro US dollar, for sure we're in a big downtrend. Now, the 125 line is a big line in the sand. That's the line of hope on the DXY that I've showed you and talked about. That if we break down below that line of hope on the DXY, we could see much further pressure. That could happen here on the Euro US dollar as well. Break above 125, wow, we're in a little bit of trouble. Could this be the year that the world loses faith in the US dollar? You know what? It's so funny. I remember back in sometime in 2018 talking about de-dollarization taking place, and people will get all sorts of triggered, like it couldn't happen, right? What has Russia done? Russia now owns more gold, right, than US dollars. There you go, de-dollarization. China and Russia trading directly together, de-dollarization. Everyone is trying to de-dollarize because why? Because the US has used the dollar as a weapon, imposing sanctions on countries. Putin said it best. He didn't want to do it. He was forced to do it. So is it possible that the world loses faith in the US dollar? Or is it possible that the current administration continues the trajectory that every administration, with the exception of the Clinton administration, Bill Clinton, they got actually us into a surplus, if you remember briefly, under the guidance of Alan Greenspan. That didn't last too long, and since then it's just been a straight detractor, blah blah blah. Excuse my pronunciation of debt, massive debt. We're set to increase that. Is that going to benefit gold right now? Or are we seeing today happening gold as yields spike a little? Is the Fed going to allow yields to rise? Now the market's the market. The market's going to do what it wants. But let me tell you, QE is definitely suppresses yield rates. That's what it does. They're going to do whatever they can to keep those rates down until they make that hyper jump into the next system, right? That's not ready yet. They're not ready to go there, so they got to keep it going. That means they have to artificially suppress rates. What you're seeing right now there is noise. Nevertheless, that noise could continue for a while. Is this setting up a possible short over here below that trend line over there? If you get a retest and a resumption into it, maybe we'll be watching it. If this is the line right there, if we come back up and test that and resume off that, is that a short you could take into this area of support over here, capping your risk? You got a very nice risk to reward. It's something for us to think about. We will think about it as it unfolds. Let me go into the DXY really quick since we just were focusing on the euro US dollar. And I just want to show you that we're coming back up and testing this area of resistance. Strong downtrend, no question about it. Coming into resistance out of that bull flag we were talking about, right, into that resistance. Let's see what happens today. Again, what's going on in the world today is Biden is expected to deliver the speech talking about $2 trillion. Now, that's just the starting point. Originally, it was $2.2 trillion, the plan voted by the Democrats, but we've already had a package of $900 billion, right? So instead of now floating $2.2 trillion, we're floating $2 trillion. That doesn't mean that's the number we're going to get. That number could actually go higher. But even still, I've talked about it all for the past 6 months. That's the signal we're looking at over there. By the way, increased debt, increased devaluation of the dollar and its purchasing power. Is that something that's going to benefit gold and silver? We'll look at gold and silver later on today. I think what we're seeing is opportunity building, but we're going to find out how to get into that over there. All right, what else are we looking at? So on the dollar, you can see that the euro is under pressure as well. The euro is under pressure only because of the dollar or because of other things. We're seeing some signs of trouble occurring over in our beautiful country of Italy. Love Italy, love Rome, love all Italians. Spent a lot of time in Medjugorje. Medjugorje is full of Italians. Love, 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 love the culture. But nevertheless, the politics is politics. That's not the people. Same thing here and all over the world. And we're running into a little bit of friction and trouble. Could that possibly be weighing on the euro? I don't know, but I know that might lead to some type of opportunity on the euro British pound right now. We'll look at that a little bit later in the session. Here in the DXY, getting above this area of resistance, that then has us looking for perhaps a bigger move in the dollar. This is the trend line that I'm going to be tracking and watching. This whole area between that light resistance over here at 91 and up into 91, 91.40, whatever it is, into that resistance. If we break above this near-term resistance right now, that's what we'll be looking at. That could open up that trade on the euro US dollar. We'll keep watching it. However, let's jump back to the Nasdaq, going back to learning experiences, things that we were looking at yesterday. Do you remember in yesterday's afternoon update? By the way, thank you for smashing that like button as soon as you see those afternoon updates. Thank you. Thank you. We got everyone in here helping the community, moderating. Thank you. It helps me focus in on the charts. I need to keep that flow. 2021 is uber important for all of us. I need to make sure that we stay on top of our game. I don't have time to go ahead and address trolling or anything like that. I need to be working, and that's what I'm going to do over here. Nasdaq, we were looking at this yesterday, and I was saying, look, we have that light resistance. You can see that resistance is being respected. I said as you came into that resistance, I would not move my stop loss to break even. I would keep my original stop. That proved to be effective. If you would have moved your stop to break even, you would have been stopped out, but price is still coming up. By the way, super healthy price action, right? Break out of that little bit of resistance into the closest resistance, confirm that as support, and then start rising up. Where would I move the stop loss to break even if you're in that trade? As we came into that, as we tested that all-time high over here, below it, into that little bit of supply, right? Getting above there, I think somewhere around 13,100. A little bit under that. I would move my stop loss to break even and then try to push that trade. I wouldn't be taking any profit. I would be hoping to get a pop. Maybe that pop's going to come off of that talk of what? $2 trillion in stimulus. Nevertheless, follow what's going on. I want to jump down to the 2 hour really quick just so you can see that unfolding. There's that breakout of that resistance into this resistance, retest, and now we're just trying to resume back up off. We need to take out that last local high over there to see that's continuing. All right, what else do we got going on over here? A lot. Let's take a look at it. Let's go over to Ethereum Bitcoin. Ethereum Bitcoin right here this morning is set up beautifully. This is an actionable signal over here. Let me go ahead and just see myself. Is that something that I want to draw in there? It's not, but I still got to explore and see. Hold on. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm looking at. I'm not really looking at that. It's kind of there, but I'm kind of forcing it. So I'm going to remove that. What I am looking at, though, is this, and this is what you should be looking at over there. The Truth Capital. Wanted to thank you for making me a successful trader and keeping me Bitcoin focused. I'm grateful. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that very much. Truth Capital, I haven't checked out the channel yet. I would like to. If anyone gets a second, do check them out over there on Truth Capital. Thank you for that, brother. Over here, you could see the support line over here. You could see that price has come in. We've been tracking this. I'm saying above here, this looks like that opens up the upside. Let me zoom out really quick so you could see it over there, right? You can see over here this bit of resistance, that trend line break from the all-time high that I'm playing. Getting above this area of resistance opens up that last swing high over there that occurred in September. Or, I said, or if we come back into this line of support. Here we are right now, back into that support over there. You can see that trend line was tested a little bit, and that is providing a nice entry. Yes, you still got work to do, meaning I'm trying to force it. I'm not putting it there, but you can see that angle of that trend line. By the way, more important, if you take these type of trades, you have the actionable signal, the trend line break, all-time high. That's actionable. You came into the resistance, retested it, again, resistance, but now you're back into support. Taking these type of trades all day long, all year long, which limit your risk, you have that potential to the upside. You're going to be a profitable trader. The trick is having the patience to go ahead and wait for the setup and entry to develop, not jumping in because you want something to happen. You have to wait for it, and you have to attack when it's time to attack. You have to think and act like a predator. A predator does not run at the herd and let them scatter and then start chasing random victims. No. The predator stalks the herd, finds the weak point, waits for the moment to attack, and then when it attacks, it comes in quick and hard. That's what you got to do. All right, what about on Ethereum this morning over here, looking beautiful as well? I say looking beautiful because it's taking out that area of resistance I was tracking over here. Look at that. Ethereum is running. Ethereum outperforming barely Bitcoin today. These two have been neck and neck. It's beautiful to see this bull market right now at this particular stage. First quarter 2021, right? When did I say that we were really going to see these things start running? First quarter 2021. When was it when Bitcoin broke out of 19,000? All right, January 1st. I just want to get my bearings over here. 30,000. All right, this party's just beginning. 30,000, by the way, January 1st, around there. That's when we broke my last line of resistance. Speaking of line of resistance, I'll come back to Ethereum and Bitcoin's thought in 1 second. I want to come back over to here, my trend lines on the log scale. I want to come down to a 4-hour time frame just to show you what's happening over there. You could see that finally that resistance after us falling below it has been, we've trading back above it and actually confirming that and now resuming off. Very healthy price action. I saw some of you saying earlier this morning in the chat that you bought that dip, that 30% dip. I had big shout out, by the way, best friends, childhood best friends, speaking on the phone yesterday, and they were like, I had no idea. They follow the videos all the time. They can't watch live because of work, but they watch the replays. And they said as we came in for that 30% drawdown, they had the confidence to know exactly what to expect and what's going on. Love to hear all of that. Ethereum, Bitcoin. Ethereum, Bitcoin. I love that this market right now at this particular time of this bull market phase, because we're not into that speculative phase portion yet. We're not into when alts are going crazy, although they are. Watch DOT again. Did you see DOT today? Up another 8%, right? Chainlink doing its thing. It's working towards all-time highs, right? But we're seeing Ethereum and Bitcoin, the two leaders, leading the run. And it's nice that Bitcoin has this like little bit, this partner here at this particular time running with it. You know, very, very healthy market. Loving this market. What else are we going to look at over here? Let me go into gold and silver. Let me check in the indexes first. Indexes, we have the S&P 500 breaking out of this bull flag over here. You can see that trend line over there that I have, right? You can see that after breaking out of the bull flag, it's coming back in, retesting it. Looking to see if we resume off of that right now. Eric, glad to hear that, my brother. Glad to hear that your confidence is improving. Confidence is essential in trading. And if you're trading from a lack of confidence, by the way, two things. First of all, stop trading. Make sure you're trading on a demo, right? And you will invest in yourself. How do you invest in yourself? Follow what we do day in and day out. Invest in yourself. Invest your time. Watch the live streams, whether you can watch it live or not. Watch the afternoon updates, and in a very short amount of time, you're going to have your confidence rising, building. You're going to know what's going on. You're going to be able to then start trading on that demo, showing profits. But I'm missing what's happening. Why would I do that? I just want to jump in with a live account and just play, because you're going to get wrecked. You're going to lose money. The market's always going to be there. There's always opportunity. Yes, there's opportunity today, but there's going to be opportunity tomorrow as well. You're not going to be able to take advantage of that opportunity unless you're coming from a place of strength. Here, the S&P 500, after breaking outside of that bull flag, has pulled back into this trend line. We're now looking for that to resume off. If it does, we're challenging all-time highs. We got that stimulus talk to pump the markets going today. And it's not just talk. Like, it's actually like all of this money, what does it do? What is all this money, all this debt they're taking on? Well, it's destroying the future generations. Is destroying their future. That's why we're here to build their future. We're not only looking out to create a life for ourselves, but for the generations to come. That's our responsibility. Otherwise, your grandchildren one day, and even if you're 20 years old right now, one day you're going to have grandchildren. They're going to be like, where were you in 2020, 2021, as these central bankers and governments destroyed our future? What were you doing, and why were you not protecting my future? No, we are protecting their future. All right. So anyway, going back, we looked at the Nasdaq already, right? The Dow. Let me get a feel for it. Look, I love my bull flags coming out of that bull flag. Boom, consolidation. Now coming up towards that high, and also the Russell staying within that rising channel. Yes, this could either be extremely bearish or bullish. We've seen lately a lot of these rising channels, like narrow rising channels, break out to the upside. And when they do, it's a big move. But if it breaks to the downside, be aware and watch. Is that also perhaps a wedge pattern, a rising wedge, right? Could we start making the case for that? Maybe. We'll just do that for now. We'll come back to that later. Not interesting right now, right? Please go over the flow models of Bitcoin that you were discussing last week. I'm not sure what the flow models are of Bitcoin that we were talking about. We have the four models, the four log chart models. If you go back to the playlist on Bitcoin, you'll see that video. And then you'll also see in the description below the charts to those four different videos. That's where you want to focus. You could download each of those charts. The links are in the description below. Briefly show this, but I'm not going to Log charts are for us, like every once in a while when we're going over Bitcoin, looking at what's going on, we could look at potential price targets and where they are. But this is not something that we need to do on a daily basis. On a daily basis, we want to focus what's going on in front of us on the 8-hour time frame. At least that's where I look to make a living, on the 8-hour time frame. We have Heath doing a fantastic job. Trade Talk, by the way, if you go to my channel, you look at the recommended channels, you'll find Heath's Trade Talk. You'll find Brandon's Crypto Trades and Tech. You'll find a link to both of their channels. Heath does a fantastic job instructing and teaching everyone how to go ahead and attack on those lower time frames. All right, let me come in and see what else is going on. We've covered a little bit. We haven't looked at gold and silver, and we're going to need to. So let me do that. Let me come back and first get my awareness, right? This is my awareness. This is what I'm looking at. This is this channel that we're in, right? We broke out of it, but it was a failed breakout, smashed back in, right, into that channel. I'm neutral, right? We had, Will showed us over here that this area over here is a trend line going back over to there. It's a good place to look in, to lean in, especially with that horizontal support. Only I am not. I'm looking for that higher probability trade breaking outside of that trend line again to the upside. That will set up me a place to look to attack to gold again. If not, because we are seeing what? We are seeing yields currently rising. I don't know when this is going to end, and it's possible it could continue to put a little bit of pressure on the precious metals. However, I believe this is an enormous opportunity for the precious metals, because what we're looking at, right, the US is continuing to take on massive debt. Is it ever possible to pay back that debt? I guess they're going to try to inflate it away. That's what the question for me is, what are they going to do? Are they going to take this thing deflationary or inflationary? It seems that they've proven, nothing's for sure, it seems that they've proven they're trying to go the inflationary route. Nevertheless, the last thing I ever trust is a central banker. I'll tell you that much. All right. So silver, what about silver? When can we attack on silver? To me, it looks kind of clear. It's this line at 26, right? Right now, let me come back to the 8-hour. I'm going to stay on the 3-day 1 second. Right here, 26, you've all known that's been an important line after the support that was built up over here, then the resistance. We blew past it on the way down. Is it possible on the way up that after breaking through it, we come back in and that is proven to be resistance and we resume off it to the downside? It is. That's why I want to wait for us to get back above it, back above 26. I feel a little bit safer. Hopefully that time we're able to take out 27.50. I like it, but I'm staying away from it right now. All right, what else we got going on over there? So I just mentioned I'm not going to look at it. Doc keeps flying. Alan provides fantastic analysis along with Brandon inside CTM on alt and the space. And Alan has been all over that as well. So I'm going to just move along. Chainlink, just making observations. I'm going to move into FX right now because we've been going only a half hour, explosive half hour. If you haven't yet smashed that like button, please go ahead and smash that like button. Help me know that you like what's going on over there. All right. So what else we got going on over there? From Keith Hoffman. You're my psychologist the last few days. My Bitcoin went down to 60K and back up 60K in 3 days. You know what? This is such an enormous part of trading, the mindset and the psychology, for sure. I know, and I loved Alan on Twitter Monday. I couldn't be here with you all. First day ever that I've not been able to do that, right? Alan went ahead on Twitter and provided our situational awareness, why we were seeing that 30% drawdown, let everyone know what was going on, what we were watching for. And then I saw in the comments the rest of CTM jumping in there. And it was like, you don't know how proud it made me feel. So proud, so happy to see all of us together working hard, raising our game, having that confidence to be able to navigate these markets like that together. What else we got going on over there? Right? What else we got going on over here? By the way, Cardano breaking out of that bull flag. Look at that. Big shout out to Brandon. If you're watching this, Brandon has kept everyone focused on Cardano. Over here now, breaking outside of this bull flag. Let's come down to the 8-hour. Let's take a look over here, right? You can see so what do I see? First of all, when I do lines like this, that means it's a rough sketch. When I put in lines like this, then you know that I'm really focused at what's going on. So this was just a rough sketch, and it's a rough sketch because I'm not trading Cardano. Nevertheless, I'm pointing it out right now for what's going on and for whoever is. And you can see over here, you can see that we are breaking outside of that trend line. And it looks like we put in that down bar, now coming off of it. That's an actionable signal, especially on crypto. Crypto has the habit on breakouts of running where other markets do not. Pay attention to that over here. Andre, I'm glad over this past few weeks to really see you back over here with us. That's where you belong. This is your family, right? So really happy, really happy. Andre nailed Tesla, by the way. Andre on his own nailed Tesla in 2020, and then he's positioned into Bitcoin. Glad to see you with us over here right now, my brother. Right? What else are we going on? What else are we looking at? All right, not the comments though. I need to keep focus on what's going on. Let me check out Litecoin. Look at that. Remember when we put that in there? Here was that retest, resumption off, Litecoin flying. Market looks healthy. Market looks good. Do we have anything to worry about as we come back into this all-time high over here, right? I mean, listen, the market is in the last cycle, by the way, all we could do is kind of compare cycles, compare price behavior. It would take a week or two to recover from these 30% drawdowns. You could see that unfolding so far quicker. We're not out of the woods. I don't want anyone to get overconfident just yet. As we come into that resistance, obviously one or two things could happen over here. We could have a pullback. If we have a pullback, notice over here, right here at 36,500. Let me draw a line over there because you could see over here is when we started. We started first, that was a bit of resistance, confirmed it into support, and then back on the way up, that provided to be resistance. That's an area, if at any point we come back in and test and confirm, super, super healthy market that we're in. Let me put it at the whole number, 65. All right, so that's just giving us a further little bit of what? Just a little bit of support, help to know what's going on. We're not going, anyway, I lost the line of thought. I'm going to keep going. Let me get into what was going on in FX, all right? The reason being is because we have about another 30 minutes together. After that, I'm going to be preparing for the live trading session we got going on at 10:30 Eastern time for conquering the markets. Over here, New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc. Look at this breaking out of the bull flag. It's not out of the woods. We had a spike over there. I'm not going to take a trade like this on FX currencies. On crypto, you could play breakouts. You could be a little bit more prone because they do break out. Let me just show you what that looks like really quick on Litecoin. It's a perfect example to illustrate what I got in my head and what I know and want to show you. Look at all these consolidation patterns on Litecoin and look what happens when it breaks out from them. You don't get that retest and resumption as you do in other markets. Look at all of these breakouts, 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 right? So that's not the same behavior as you'll see in commodities. It's not the same behavior that you'll see in the metals. It's not the same behavior that you'll see in FX or on the indexes. Generally, you see that breakout, and breakouts tend to fail a lot, retest, and then resumption. Nasdaq Swiss franc, with that in mind over here, you can see it breaking out of that bull flag, entirely positive, right? Commodity currency, by the way, New Zealand dollar, Australian dollar, and then to the lesser extent, Canadian dollar have been running now for quite a while. They've been strong. Here you can see that looking to take up again. Wait for it. Watch it. I'm going to still keep this green because if we get any pullback now to retest either this trend line of that bull flag or into that big horizontal support, that's the place I'm going to look to attack. Euro New Zealand dollar continues to run down. Continues to run down, right? So this is why we put in this trend line over here. Look, it was rejected over there, but that's not actionable for me. And there would not have been any type of trade I could take on that. Moving along, Euro US dollar. We looked at this extensively earlier this morning. Is what we started with today. We saw it breaking down over here. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to keep it green lit just to see what happens if we come up into that resistance over there and then resume off of it. Getting back above here, that opens up the upside. We'll continue watching that together and monitoring it. What's going on here? Pound Australian dollar. I put in that blue box, right? I have to say, I'm a little hesitant about trading against the British pound right now, personally. Just for, FYI, I'm a little hesitant about trading against the British pound. But you can see as we came into that strong downtrend, into that resistance, so far it's been rejected. right? Learning experience for myself. I'm not looking to trade against the British pound over here. US dollar, Swiss franc. As we're tracking the DXY, the dollar index, and we see that dollar index coming into that resistance. This is resistance as well. This is all messed up. Sorry about that. You got to keep these things really in order. It's really important as your brain glances at these charts. If you have resistance marked green, it throws your brain off. Your brain is an incredible instrument. Over here coming into that resistance, right? You could see that over here. It looks to me, is that a reverse head and shoulders, right? It looks to me, I mean, either way, you're focused on the neckline. In this case, the neckline is the resistance line over here, but you can see left shoulder, head, right shoulder. It looks to me that we're trying and keep knocking against this resistance. It looks to me like it's trying to break out above, right? So anyway, we'll come back to that. Pound Japanese yen, right? Is that a retest? See that broken resistance? Retest, resuming off of it, right at entry right now, by the way, right? If you missed this entry, it's right at entry right now. Interesting. I almost was going to pause, but I'll check it out in a half hour. All right, interesting. Pound New Zealand dollar, nothing. You can see it's caught up in this area of consolidation right now. Getting above here, that's going to open up something very attractive for myself, right? So watching that pound being repriced slowly, not quickly, but slowly, and it's happening. New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen. What do we see over here? Is there a trend line right over there? Could anyone see this trend line support? Right? Yeah, that's pretty good, right? But I see that come back into this area of resistance is now being confirmed as support, looking to resume off of here. This could also bring up an entry right now during this session over here while London is still open. I want to go back as I'm looking at the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, and look at the New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc, right? You can see that they're both breaking out, right? Similar pairs, highly correlated, both breaking out right now of bullish extensions over here. Which one would you set up? Which one you trade? Right now, if you got the trigger on the New Zealand dollar, Japanese yen, right? That would be the one I would be looking for. I would be waiting on the New Zealand dollar, Swiss franc to see if it offers any future opportunity. And let me just check back in on the US dollar, Canadian dollar, right? I said we said together, I missed it. We said together as we traded back below that resistance, look what happened. The reason when I say look what happened is because as this unfolds in real time, you'll be there to take advantage. But it's very clear what happened. Breakdown, retest, resumption, off. Conquering the markets all day long. What else is out there? Let me take a look over here. Euro, British pound. This is something to talk about, right? Why I say it's something to talk about. Let me come to the 3-day time frame with you. Do you see this line of support over here? It's a very big, important level over there. If we break down out of here, I think we could see a further extension of the pound. I'm noticing as you put the pieces together that the pound, right, ever since the new year, you're seeing that slow repricing appreciation of the pound. It's strengthening. And right now we're seeing the euro a little bit fragile. We're seeing cracks in the euro. So this is something to keep watching over here. Let me come back first on the 12-hour to you. You could see this little bit of a channel that I was tracking over here. Rough strokes, right? Not exact. And you could see what happened is that we held after that spike down, but are now coming back below it. That's actually the setup that has no name. And it has no name because it has no name. But you could see that as we come back down into the support, I'm going to wait. I would not take an entry, obviously, into support, a sell into support. But if we break this support, that opens up an actionable signal for us. US dollar, Japanese yen. Let's see what's going on over here. I have this this fuzz over here to say that as long as we're in here, I'm standing aside. You can see that we're coming up back towards the top of that resistance over there, above the horizontal resistance at 104.36. That opens up the upside over here. I'm going to remove this line right over here because it's a bit noisy. I'm not focused on that. I'm focused on what's happening between this support and that resistance. This trade could open up. We looked at it extensively yesterday, so I don't need to do that right now, but it could open up either direction in the coming sessions. What else? Let me take a look around. I haven't looked at Australian dollar pair, so I want to start over there. I want to see what's going on. We'll start with the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, the crossover here, right? So what I see over here happening, this trend line over here, breakdown, retest, a resumption down. Does that offer up a short on the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar? first thing that I want to ask myself is, do I want to trade a cross pair? What looks like it's showing better opportunity right now? Is it US dollar pairs? Is it Japanese yen pairs? Or is it cross pairs? Right? I don't have the answer to those questions. I'm watching what's happening right now. The reason I'm saying those observations, I'm making the observations of what's going on so that I can figure out where I want to focus my attention. But I do notice over here that trend line, the break into that first area of what? Support, and now a retest of that line. If we resume down, I think that could be offering up a short opportunity. Are we in an uptrend or a downtrend? Massive uptrend on the since the March low, since the Fed acted at the end of the month. On a longer term chart, that's just kind of fuzzy, still in an uptrend. Not something I want to be playing with right now. Australian dollar, Swiss franc. All right, so everyone should say it. I don't even need to say it. There was that line of resistance, the retest, resumption off. That's the entry that anyone should be tracking, but there's nothing going on right now. That needs to be flipped over into support, right? Breakout, breakout, retest, resumption. Breakout, retest, resumption. Over here, Australian dollar, Japanese yen, still not in play. It's still in that consolidation area I have here circled. It's not attractive, right? Is this attractive? Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar. Interesting that the Australian dollar is stronger than the New Zealand dollar, but weaker than the Canadian dollar right now. Again, observation. I'm not interested in the crosses, but I am interested in just throwing up this trend line right over here right now so that I know if that breaks, we could be seeing a little bit of a trend change. What about the Australian dollar, US dollar? Interesting. We got the euro weak, Australian dollar stronger than the dollar. Interesting observation. I see a triangle here. Can everyone see that? This is, right, trading price alone around the market structure of support and resistance. So price is most important. Second most important is what? Support and resistance. With the help of what? Trend lines and chart patterns. Here's a chart pattern over here. This triangle, this consolidation. A breakout over here to the upside, right? That could offer opportunity. US dollar continues to be under pressure. Is that resistance on the DXY going to hold? Let's look at it. By the way, so I see right now the DXY is being pressured by the weakness in the euro today. Again, observations, right? So as we come into that resistance, if this resistance holds and we're rejected, we're in a downtrend, we sell resistance. If this resistance holds, the Australian dollar might be a place to attack that dollar, right? That's definitely green lighted to watch. Let me come back to it, right? If we break outside of this little bit of a triangle here, that would be looking for a possible entry unfolding in the sessions ahead on the Australian dollar. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. Yeah. Canadian dollar, Japanese yen. We have a big trend line over here that we're coming into right now. Look at that trend line. You see it? Let me come back. Let me move this out of my way over here so I can see it. By the way, if you're here watching, thank you for being here, spending this time. If you like what's being shared, if you're grateful for the time that I spend with you, sharing my 20 plus years of knowledge with you, go ahead and show your support and appreciation. Smash that like button. Please do that for me. I appreciate it. You can see this trend line over here. We're coming into it right now. It's a big deal over there. I just want to give you that greater perspective. Now come back down into real time over here. You can see that we're looking to take that out. Is that actionable, right? It is very much. It's not something that I want to look at right now this session because we might go ahead. You can see that entry that has no name, possible entry right there. I would not take that. I would be looking for my high probability trade, a retest and a resumption. But I'm going to be watching that very, very carefully in the session, in the day to come, in the sessions to come. Swiss franc, Japanese yen continues to be not in play at all. I'm going to move past it. Euro, that this has been going on for quite a while, seeing that extension down of the euro Australian dollar. Is it now worth tracking? Is this worth tracking over here? You can see over here, this looks like a possible descending wedge developing. Let's see how clear that is, right? Let's keep that in focus over there. Let's keep that in focus. If we hold over here, we have this in place for future. Not close to developing right now, but it could in the sessions ahead. This is the euro Canadian dollar. You could see that euro weakness across the board, right? You can see that euro weakness. Let me go ahead and see what's going on over here. This is a 3-day chart over here. Let me see how big that level is. right? Are we in an uptrend or a downtrend, right? We're kind of sideways. We're kind of sideways. Let me come back down to the 8 hour over here. What I'm watching is this line of support being taken out over there, right? That's what I'm watching. So I'm seeing if this is something that maybe as we're breaking down outside of this consolidation, if that is something that I might want to consider playing, taking advantage of. It's not. How do I know that? Because do you see my voice, the cadence of my voice, how unsure it got? Like I'm trying very hard to make something that's not there for myself appear. So that I know myself. That means for sure is not something that I want to focus in on at all, and I'm just going to avoid it. I'm paying attention in that case to the cadence of my voice to know what's going on. All right, what else are we looking at over here? Euro Swiss franc, nothing of interest. Euro Japanese yen, interesting. All right, I'm seeing euro under pressure, but this is actually coming back into a place where if we resumed off over here, you could see that I might be interested. You could see over here, we're following my mouse, that little bit of light resistance as well. I'm focused on that resistance right that we're coming into right now. That's something that I want to keep tracking. I might be willing to take a poke over there, right? I want to at least consider it as I go over the setups that I'm looking for actual trades. Nothing to see or do over here. Let's come back, look at the pound Canadian dollar because the Canadian dollar has been strong. There you go. But the pound is also. All right. I don't like it. I'm going to move away. I don't want to consider it at all. I do want to check out the pound US dollar. Pound US dollar, interesting, right? You could see again, you could see the trend line. You guys sensing a pattern today? Are you guys sensing a pattern of what you should be looking for and focused on? Here's that trend line over there. There's that retest, and now looking to resume off over here. I would not take this trade today if this triggers why New York is still open during London. I would not take a trade that high up over there like that. All right. So if I miss it, if it does trigger over here, if we make a higher high after that retest and resumption up, what would I do? I would wait. I would know that's a little bit of now local resistance. Look to see if that's flipped into support and then be able to attack at a different point. Or I could wait and maybe this doesn't trigger. Maybe we come back down. Maybe we continue to test that. And maybe it gives tomorrow a possible entry signal. So nothing right now today. All right. Gunner, what a joke. What a joke. Eric, if you're signed up for Conquering the Markets, you're going to see the link posted in the Telegram group, in our private Telegram group, and an email also sent to you. But it's for those that are a member of the Conquering the Markets trading course and community. The link below is in the description below. Let me keep going over here. Let's look at the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. What do you see there? I see similar to what I'm looking at the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar, but I'm sorry, Australian dollar, US dollar, that triangle that's developing, right? This is interesting actually. I'm more drawn toward the Australian dollar. And by the way, if I flag both of these, then later on, then I'm figuring out which I believe to be the best wave that I want to get on top of. But look at this over here. If we break out above that resistance and outside of that trend line over there, that's offering a possible setup that will be developing. I'll continue to watch that over there. So what else is going on? Let me come back over here. Let me focus in on, wow, we put in another I would say percent or two. We're $700 since we got on this morning, coming right into that area of resistance. Watch what happens. Let's see what happens. What else we got going on? Thank you, brother, very much. Yep. It's a great way. It's a great way to continue your education. It costs next to nothing. The service is actually invaluable. If you like what I do, you want to know more, if you want to be further connected into the Conquering the Markets community, or you just want to say thanks, is a great thing to do. We're going to keep this one short because this was a fire session, as they've been all week long, ever since I got readjusted on Tuesday. Yesterday in the morning, yesterday in the afternoon, from my perspective, absolute fire. So was this session over here. I'm going to go ahead and brew myself a cup of coffee, get ready for the training session, and I'll see you all this afternoon. Thanks everyone for the session. Tomorrow will be Friday. Friday sessions I love. They're a little bit of a different flow because we're not looking for active trades. I'll review what happened overnight, what I'm looking at, what if I took any trades, how I'm managing them, and then we'll get into more of an Ask Me Anything where we just have that Friday flow going on. Love our Friday sessions. So thanks for this one. Let's go out with some music. Flowing in the zone. All right, everyone. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. Thanks for spending this time together. I am grateful. I am truly thankful for it, and each one of you. I'll talk to you later.